Hey, I wanted to introduce the features of terrain parkour as of January 16th, 2022. Some new stuff has come out. The game is basically about two modes: finding signs, which are these red things here, and racing between sign setting world records. So there's this big world. News comes to you through the chat menu here. There's various things you can see, people that join and leave. This is your interface to get data about what's going on. This is like stream of updates, and then you also get dynamic updates over here. So let's look at this sign and see what we can learn about it. So this guy, Silicon, has set 72 world records, either going from here or to here. And here's the place of everybody else. If we click it, turn this off. So let's run. So we're in a race from this sign. We can go anywhere. So there's like 270 some signs. Every pairwise combination has its own top 10 list, and you can get the world record on it. So if you go far enough, like I think there's about 60,000 total races you can run right now. Only about 7,000 have been run, so let's see. So we're the first one. So somebody has done this before. So how do we interpret this? So I got first place here. My first time running, two people have run it, including me just now. This is my personal history. There's a test account, so I don't have very much history. And then other people in the server are doing other stuff. So let's see what else we can do. So the new mode here is RR. It's random race. So that means it chooses races based on some criteria. So it suggests, so Xylem to Rojo. So let's see, how do we do this? Right now you don't get rewarded, but in the near future you will. Okay, so I think we want to go over there. And let's just check this sign out. There was a lot of competition on this sign recently. I like this little area. So I think we gotta go. So Rojo is near a pool, near some cliffs. I would guess it's over this way. This mode right now is not that playable if you don't know the map well. We help you by teleporting you to the first sign, but there's still some challenge with finding the second one. The current players are pretty serious, like have put in a lot of time, so they know a lot. Still thinking about how to design this feature, but it seems to work. The other interesting thing is when I create a random race like this, for a period of time, like 15 seconds, anyone else can join it, and the time resets, as you go. So it's kind of cool when everybody's on their own timer, but you can sort of see and follow each other as you go through the race. It's somewhat beneficial for the second person because they can see where the first person goes. But I think there's also advantages to going first. Okay. So yeah, I think I'm going the right way. This is definitely not an optimized route. The main problem of the game, from like a cooperation perspective, is you need a way to cause there to be comparison or competition between the things people do. So where am I going? So I'm going to Rojo. So that's by this Romulus. Yeah, it's over there. It's at the very end in the bottom there. So there's a number of problems with this like basic limitation that I have now. Number one being that I can't tell if anybody else is running this race. If they'd have joined me, I can tell nobody joined me. Nobody warped to the start. So it's unlikely. But even if they had jumped, I wouldn't know that they were actually following through. Right now you can trigger as many random races as you want. I think in the future limiting this to sort of compel people to try a little bit harder or to put into effort to do one might be useful. Okay, so let's see what else we got. People are asking questions. Let's see today's stats. So 3,000 runs today, which is a lot. We broke 8,000 different races. What else we got now? Let's see common. So this is a list of the signs that everybody except noobs, like everybody who has at least 5 signs, has seen all of these signs. So this is a heavy duty server, in that almost everyone here has like 100 some signs. Another new feature is finders. So this shows me the top finders on the server. Well, this is an old server which still has this bug, but this is going to get fixed. So yeah, red is number 1, 279, and then it goes down the list. But let's do one more random race. So we're going to do succulent to shiny. So shiny is all the way on, click this to cancel. Shiny is all the way on the edge. If you go, let's see, it's near the castle. Castle is near this stuff. So I think it's like over there. So what's a good way to go? I will run along this black edge, go there. This is somewhat passable. This is the boat, this is frigate. Go over frigate, this world of molecules. So yeah, let's see, so where am I going? This really should say going to, it should like give me some state and track the state. So yeah, shiny, okay, let's see if we can do this. So I predict it's gonna take like a couple of minutes. Thinking about this game in the long term, it's, you know, I think the cross sign, like combinatorics, where you learn, I learn going from A to B, and then I have to learn going from A to C, and it partially reuses that information, but at a different angle. I think intensifying this repurposing of information challenge is really where the bread and butter of this game is about, is that one weakness is that the statefulness of the player is really weak. So like I can stop at a dime and use all my momentum to go backwards. There's not really stamina. Jumping is unlimited. The only terrain is kind of basically just plastic. Like there's a few terrain types which have an effect. So where's the, I think castle's down, yeah, castle's over there. So shiny is way over there, I think. The only terrain types which have an effect are water, which slows you down for like 5 seconds, which you have to let the water drip off you by not jumping. And there's some legacy stuff which I don't think actually works, but it's very subtle. Whereas in Trackmania, there's tons of stateful movement. You have this gigantic movement vector that's very hard to change. I mean, you have to grind your engines to control it. And you have like your skidding state, you have the angle of the car. So you have the car vector and you also have the car rotation state. Here you just have, rotation is basically irrelevant. You just have the movement vector, which is like immediately resettable. Anyway, so that's just some thoughts about the game. So what's going on here? I just added some new signs, so people are searching for them wildly. So good, let's see, polysaccharides to Sciocchi. Sciocchi is, I think, Schiaparelli is the one in canals over there. Sciocchi is the one in the zone with the weird boat thing. Actually, I don't know where it is. So let's just do another race real quick here. So what's the dream? There's a lot of dreams, but imagine if I hit this and above my head it said racing from, from A. And then as I approach this sign, it would tell me whether I'm about to set a world record. Probably not. Yeah, I got 4th. So how does this interpretation work? I knocked this guy out, who had previously been 11th, and these guys all got +1. Okay, some more info. The next big improvement is on this. So let's get someone to, so what is the ideal version of this? So this is very basic. So what this should be like is, it should have his face here. It should have his stats here with like +X to indicate what he gained from doing this achievement. And then here it would say, got 3rd place, and then below it, it would say personalization, like server personalization of the effects of this. So there's two levels of this. There's global stats and there's race stats. Race stats, it would say like some other guy in the server was 5th place and this guy got 2nd place. The other guy would now be 6th place. So it would say push down X. So push down you if you're in there. Push down X where X is another person in the server. So that's race stat changes crossed with server. Then there's global stats crossed with server, which is they just surpassed the 74th place for most ticks and some other thing for world records, or they have 3 more world records to get before they reach 59th place. So the psychological reason for this is you want people, so we've created this very complex information relationship space, and as people move through it, so it's pretty opaque on the face of it, but as people move through it, you want them to have as many trails as possible to interpret what's going on. So rather than being, just like your 200,000th place or like in Osu, there would be much more juicy stuff about rates of progress. Your brain would sort of subtly want to make a prediction. The motto of this game is one more race, or just one more race. Or I guess I should say run, just one more run. And I find myself getting addicted to this game. Even though I created it and put all these signs in, it still gets me. And I'm like, I really wonder. So let's see Bowser Fidon. Let's do like another way of playing. So let's preemptively check the timing from here to, there's a place up there, GmbH. So, okay, so this is not that interesting. There's just one, this Akurexi has done this. The other thing is I need to add is, ideally this would be a visual thing. So like somewhere on the screen there'd be a dedicated menu that would pop up and be dismissible whenever you do this type of command. And then within that it would have sign start, sign end, race, and runner, the player. And then if I click on the player, I'd be able to drill into their details. And then there'd be a further layer of personalization, configuration of identity of a player's terrain parkour identity, where they'd be able to say something like, I'm either a finder or a racer. If I'm a racer, this is the sign that I'm willing to defend. Or like say, I like this type of region. So basically to make claims in ranking space and then to show the state of those claims, just as more of a way to allow differentiation, like validated differentiation between people. So I could say, for example, I specialize in all the water races, and then the system would know what that means and also help me like show how validated my claims really were. Okay, so that's like a lot of stuff to do. So let's do this. Let's do a better race. So I don't remember the name of these. This is sort of like the monuments zone. Let's do cave. So nobody's ever run this. So let's just cut through. Should be good. So there's really a lot of things to do. I'm happy with this random race thing. It hasn't caught on, but I could see it kind of catching on where like for certain servers or groups of people, once I have rewards for it and top 10s for it, weighted by number of participants and like the significance of the race, or how long it is, how short it is, etc. People can specialize in what they're interested in. Once I have that, I can see people really liking it. One final thing is I really want to do pairwise. I think I'm going to call it dual, like DUAL. So if you get the world record from A to B and B to A, or if you do either of those races, you'll be prompted to do the other. The space of movement in this world, the game also kind of exploits unusual relationships. So like, for example, Bowser Fidon to anywhere is pretty fast because you drop down, but anywhere to Bowser Fidon is not fast because you have only one way to get to it over this long bridge. So yeah, I got the world record and I'm the only runner. The other sort of axis for scoring and weighing things is by number of serious runs. So like both these runs are just one runner each. It's really uninteresting. Getting world record on a pair of races between each other where like significant effort, 100 runs total or 10 distinct runners have done it would be pretty interesting. Yeah, so this is my test account. I don't know why I play this because I constantly delete all the stats of this account because I play in like test mode to verify things and have a lot of like unfair world records, but it's still just like really fun to run and see. One other note about what makes it appealing. I think something that a lot of games are missing is intense integration of Roblox avatars. So whenever you do anything in a game and beat someone, you always should have this kind of bust, this close-up bust view of the person's avatar. I want it to be even richer, but as it is already, like this is quite good. You get a real sense of who these people are. I've noticed they don't change their avatars very often. As far as I can remember, like none of these people have significantly changed in the life, in the last month or two since this easy avatar viewing function has existed. So in addition to that, I also want, I want even more. Like I was saying before, I want to have your terrain parkour identity easily. Like you are a water guy, or you are the finder, etc. I want to allow a blurb beneath each name, or I want to allow each person to pick a sign as like their claim to fame, which would be like day of dedicated, running it the most. Let's just look at a couple more signs. Oh, let's look at Cornu. The other, okay, this is something I should do too. So where is that? I really should have sign prominence. Like certain signs, so Cornu, in addition to just world leader, I need sign stats. So I need total fines. Okay, yeah, I definitely need total fines, total runs from, total runs to, and a way to show the most popular signs. So that when you're deciding what you're going to specialize in, you have the chance to pick one. Imagine I add a new sign and you're the first to find it and you're like, this is going to be my thing. I think that would be pretty fun. At least for a while. There is some first mover advantage in this game. I just added this sign upon request of the users. No one's done E to A yet. That's amazing. One funny thing is this area. People really love this area. It's achieving its intended purpose. Like I wanted it to be an area where subtle differences in, like you really have to think about the exact number of times you want to jump and the line that you want to take. And then adding E just makes it more intense. So I would predict that within a few days, E to A through D will be highly run. Because let's compare like A to B. Let's just do this. Actually, does this work? Yeah, so this is what D to A has been run 209 times. Let's see what we get. Obviously we're not going to get top 10. The one thing I haven't covered so far is the problem with the game. Unlike Trackmania, I don't have repeatability, which means cheating is possible. Like this wedge lawn guy, I have to delete. I probably should delete the Brouhaha account. there's some indeterminism in how this works, which is really a bummer. And I suppose I could record keystrokes and then find some way to play it back, but it just seems overwhelmingly hard. But anyway, that's a good start intro. So take it easy.